NASDAQ. We get the best dope on the market Saturday, November 1st. November 1st. We're going to go through some commodity markets. Okay, so we have fast markets all over the joint, okay? So, and if you're not really into futures trading, or you're into a couple, okay, you can jump around here. But we're going to kind of cover the softs, and then you could just, jump up 5 minutes, whatever. I don't know how long this is going to go, but, and then look for the meats. We'll cover the grains, soybeans. Soybeans are in the news, babe. Spreads have exploded. Those were the lotto tickets. Anyway, here, let's look at this. This is in the softs. This is in sugar. Okay, this is May sugar. Okay, this is a long-term trend line. I just checked it. It's long-term, okay? It's, they're almost 20 years, 15, 20-year trend line. And here's the same one in the March. Okay, so they're about the same levels here, but May is a little cheaper than March, okay? May is a little cheaper, so they must be expecting something. Either that or the market's leaning that way, because usually the back months would have some kind of, carry trade in it. But anyway, so that's that. Here we got orange juice here. Listen, okay, there's a couple numbers here, but here, you just look in the right-hand column here. Okay, I got this one at 171, and I got a couple here. I'm not sure this is juice. Leave the juice alone. Persecuted. Okay, so we got one, 170 quarter there. I got a couple. Okay, and then this one right here, stick a bid in to buy at 5. This is Jan's. Okay, this is November's. Do they go for 150 still? That's still quite a ways down. As a matter of fact, that'd be about another 10%. And that's what here, and you got this old high right here. This is a thick olive, okay? So we have this area here also. So if we got back over there, anyway, those are orange juice futures, okay? Here is here's ox sugar here. We got a green down here. This is valid. There's two greens. There's a couple upward sloping trend lines and a downward sloping trend line, okay? That's in sugar. Okay, let's get off this here. Are we on, okay. Let's go to page 4 here. Let's get rid of the softs first, okay? Oh, yeah, here. Speaking of small commodities here, this is rice. Okay, this is rice. We got olive lines down here. They're not in this chart here. But here you had a key reversal. And then here, look at this. Okay, if you had a stop in there, but if you're looking to trade it, okay, the back over these old lows. Okay, you buy it with a new low stop. Just an idea. Okay, everybody's got their own profile. Not telling you anything. That's July D's cotton. Let's take a look. This is the U.S. dollar. Everything going here, right? Yeah, we're 3 minutes up here. Okay, so we kind of have here. You can see here you got a kind of like a head and shoulders. This is just really horizontal here. Okay, I'm sure maybe one of these downward sloping knot lines, but this is what the dollar here, okay? I'd have to say the people that are trading against Trump, because they would remember this, it was like, they're going to sell the dollar's going to crash, okay? All of a sudden tariffs come along, you got some money, you're not going to, there's new hope for this republic, okay? As much as they're trying to take it down. Here, this is D's cocoa up here. This is just an example. I got a trend line and these, okay? You hit the trend line here, and then all of a sudden, what do? Okay, you don't take out the previous bar's high. And then here you did, and then you go outside down. That is like, it's kind of like the kiss of death, but now your risk is a little bit different, but I'm just saying to go lower. So this is, that's cocoa here. We had nothing down there. Cocoa's really kind of collapsed here. Let's just... there, that's cocoa, there's cocoa. You remember, because cocoa prices were all-time highs, I mean, so have they come down at all? Chocolate prices? I don't think so, being Halloween. It was $9 for, a little bit. I got to go check and see how many ounces that was. So $9 for a bag of chocolate candy. Sounds kind of expensive to me. This is copper, okay? we got some kind of cross currents. This is that area. I don't know. It just felt to me that people were going to hedge around here. You know, people going to hedge. Smelters. Okay. And so let's go to, these are the meats. Let's go to the meats. Okay. So what's happened in cattle prices? Okay. You probably heard it. Argentina. Okay. Yeah, the farmers are all pissed off. Okay. Listen, people can get mad about anything. It's amazing. It's amazing the hatred, okay? Cognitive dissonance is absolutely historic, and it's short-circuiting people's myocarditis. Okay, so anyway, we broke about 12, 13% here immediately, okay? Funds were loaded long. Trump talked about Argentina, and we've kind of come back into balance, okay? Well, that really hurts the farmers. This is how bad it hurt the farmers, okay? You go back to summer, okay? Which, you know, and before here, this was all-time high. This was all-time high, okay? Let's go to, let's look at it a little bit farther here, okay? That is all-time highs, all right? 250, okay? So let's get back into... So this is how it broke, okay? This is like a 90-minute, okay? This was the first day we went limit down, okay? This is the lives, actually. So the feeder cattle went limit down, and then we did 2 days up, and then this was it, man. So the piss out of it, okay? You know, it takes some stones, you know, it takes some stones because everybody, but then you hear it, like I said, you get back under this, you got a little bit more, okay, I'll put a buy stop here at 244, you know, and this is for live, okay? These are the sell numbers on the way up that are live, in my opinion, okay? So this is what we did Friday. We broke back down here. Ignore those blue horizontal trend lines. And this is where we are, okay? This is long-term support, okay? And just some lines here, okay? Check this out. This is the art. This is why you want to subscribe, okay? I've had this trend line here from here. Okay, see that? 2020. Okay, it actually kind of looks like it misses there, but it doesn't. Okay, and that's why it was the exact low. Okay, right there. See it? Now it's going up actually. So you know, 221.27. What month is this? This is Feb. What was the low? 2085. Okay, so it went 40 cents through there. Okay, now here's the reason why I think you should join my chart letter is because you could have had a buy order right there, okay, right there, and it was displayed. Okay, here let's watch it on a. Let's go to a. Where is it? I don't see it on there. Okay, so it's down here. Okay. On a monthly, so this is based off of intraday data, okay? I'm sure of it. Maybe not, but I'm pretty sure of it, okay? But if you go to, see, this has to get caught up once in a while. Okay, it was just on a monthly, okay? It was just on a monthly. Okay, on a monthly chart. And you did go outside down here, okay? You did snake up against one of these previous lows. I thought that was kind of important because we could possibly rally. Like right here, right now. Right here, right now, next 2 weeks, and then sell the piss out of it. You know, if you need to know anything about that, that's not advice either, okay? And then here I got in hogs, you know, somebody, you know, if you want to, if you're looking to buy something possibly here, this was July's low here. We got a couple levels down here. These are in hogs. We're not going to talk hogs. And then this in feeder cattle. Okay, here, let's look at this is in the no feeder cattle. Okay, see this light gray trend line? Okay, coming up. Now it did bust it here. We were already in motion, okay? And liquidation, right? You know, every day you sell it and the good locks the limit. You don't get out, and then you got to sell it the next day, and then those guys don't get out. Okay, so that's what we went through down here. This was an expanded limit down 7, 8. Okay, and then we broke the pattern. Okay, So then we got up here, we got right into this, see this upward sloping purple, okay? The yellow line might not have been there. That denotes a gap, okay? So you can look at these charts and know what you're, where, if you're like, okay, I'm selling the gap. I'm selling the bottom of the gap, okay? Then you sold it, okay? And, and my thing is you just have to have a stop, have a buy stop, wherever, over the gap, okay? Have it just over here where you'll look at it again. Maybe it goes to the top of the gap. Maybe we get going up here to this gap, okay? So that'd be a couple ways, to play for cattle. And but Friday's showing was kind of weak, it was kind of weak. I kind of did some research that said, respect the bounce to sell. Respect the bounce to sell. So we'll see how this shakes out. Here's a big weekly gap here. This is in March. You can see we got a red, okay, and then we got, that's a light green. I know that I made these two. These are the new set. This is light green, and then this is that dark green, okay, and then this is the red. This is the 50%er right in the middle. 50%, no matter, it's never going to go out of style, right? And there's certain people that play that 50%. Big players. So let's go to beans. Okay, hang on a second here. Let me get this right here. Okay. Well, what about NVIDIA? All right. Jeez Louise. Hey, let's go stop in on the Nikkei and the Hang Seng. There's a target up there. 52,760. 52,730 was the high, okay? But it looks like it was hit. What was the high? 730 was the high, okay? I do have a target. What are targets? Targets are targets. Learn more. What is this? This is the Nikkei on a line chart, okay? Just to give you a little bit. The Nikkei, right? Okay, what was this? 33 here. This is Liberation Day for the U.S., okay? So you went from 32,000 to 52,000. Where are their bonds? Do I have their bonds, the JGBs up here? You know what? I got them on a different page. I'm going to have to look for those JGBs. Let's look at the bank index here. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so here we went down to, a light green. Okay, remember here? This way the sequence is the light green's down here and the green is up here. Okay, so these would be sell numbers on the way up here. Here, I think so. I think this is all good. Here you came back up to the orange here. It's the bank index, so it's the last time I did the NASDAQ bank index. What's this? Oh, here's the yen. I refuse. Something that's got 0.2 zeros behind it, behind that, and then you start, and it's only a mid-digit, a 6, I mean, it's just, where are they going to take it down to? A nickel? Oh, a half of a nickel? So, okay, let's go to, I know we're going to get to grains here, but did you want to see these equities? Walmart, NVIDIA. Let's just drop in on NVIDIA. Okay, here's Intel here. Intel had a long-term olive line. Okay, I'm sure this is from the 80s or something like that. It's got to be long-term. Lilly, okay. Here's this bank index, a little different than that NASDAQ bank index. Here's NVIDIA, okay. Man, I got a man I know that's got so much of this stuff, and he's just the most level-headed guy. Target here, we got an orange on the target here. As a matter of fact, here, look at this. We're going from orange to green, okay. This is like, what is the high? 108.90. You'd have been filled. 108.48 was a high. And you got a trend line here. Okay. This is target. Okay. See, so I have them. Oh, okay. It missed the target. But you could have put your buy stop above that. If you sold it short, okay, that would be one way could possibly use the charts for your benefit. Okay, let's go to one more in the equity here. What did we want to see? DADS, okay, no. IBB, UPS, we looked at that. Let's go to Acme and, okay, I don't know. Here's Microsoft. Fucking Microsoft. The guy's wrong about everything. Now all of a sudden you can't have an industrialized without carbons. You know, that means gas, petrol products. You know, the guy's a fucking asshole. He can't get a browser that doesn't need to be updated every other week. You know, and here's Carnival. Sorry, my spewing venom. Yeah, J.P. Morgan here. Kimberly Clark. Okay, you know these. Here you got a little olive up here. You know, okay, yeah, this looks valid. This looks valid. This looks like, see this little gray line here? This looks like it's an old low. Maybe not. Yeah, I think it's an old low. So maybe it was a double bottom. Was that right there? Okay. You know, so we're going nowhere. And what was it then? This was page 40, page 39. Let's page down one. Here's Zoom. There's Zoom. Yeah. See, and then when you get back over this is all I had here. When you got back over the olive line, because look at this, you stayed there for a year. You stayed there for years. Zoom, right? And then all of a sudden, here, look at this. You make an all-time low. This is like meal. This is like meal this week. And then you do this, okay? And then all of a sudden, you come back down here, and the olive line holds. What is it, 65.87? 65.87. It went under, so you're filled. If you bought it right here back against this olive, look at this. Oh, man. Look at this hose job. You came back down there. Oh, man, that takes some stones. But maybe you sold it up here and you said, hey, yeah, I'll buy back at the olive. Okay. I am making that up here. Here's Google. Here's Apple. Oh, that's interesting. Didn't Apple have earnings? Hey. Doing a video. So Apple, let's go take a look at Apple here, just for shits and giggles. Let's. Is that a daily? That was a daily. Okay. Okay. This is what we did. That's key reversal. Okay, right here. As a matter of fact, here you got another one. Okay, here you got another one. Oh, this is really interesting here. Hang on. Okay, so this is Apple. So we're gonna do we're gonna do a little technical analysis. You know, this will just be. Listen, you don't give a rat's ass about anything. Okay, you just trading charts and levels. Hang on a second. You know what? As a matter of fact, I should. Okay. So, you're seeing it live here, man. This is a premium lesson here. Okay. All right. Okay. I think we got to go with these. I use that purple for something else here. You know what? I kind of used this. I don't know which one I used here. Hang on a second. Oh, you know what? Maybe it was this one. This one I use. So these would be a couple trend lines here. Okay, so we got this. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so they held it here late yesterday. Oh, wow. This was at 3 o'clock. 6 minutes to 3 o'clock going. Wow. Hey, holy. All right. That means going up. The 206 bar. We close right over these two bars here. And it's just like sell the piss out of it. AI is a fraud. I bought this thing where? Where? Okay, that's up for right now. Okay, I'm just making that up. Okay. I'm making that up. People still want to pay, and listen, these guys are tracking your data now, and people are in love with it. They're in love with it. So, okay, so this would be a couple levels here. Okay, hang on a second. Let me do another time frame. Okay, that's a little bit longer time frame, right? Okay. Let's look at that daily again. Okay, so we got something. If you get the right numbers programmed in, do something like this. Okay, see up there the targets? These targets, okay? This is just because you get over here. Look at this. They kind of fucked you right there. But if you were buying the gap, look at that. You know, see, so you could actually leave these levels up and it gives you a pivot. 55.43. What was the low here? Do you believe it? That's exact. See the low right there? It goes high, open, high, low. Here, hang on. 255.43. See it? We closed the 58. We closed $3 off that. 255.43. That was the sequence right here that I would teach you. What you program in. You know, if you do it yourself. Otherwise, you go, hey, NASDAQ, I don't need anything about soybeans. I don't need anything about anything. But I'm long 100,000 Apple. You know, I'm long 100,000 shares. Or whatever, 50,000. It could be like the club. Except that's, some of the guys over there, you know. And you're like, okay, here. But, you know, now listen. Okay, you'd have to be like, and actually this would be, you know, because we might be sitting there thinking it's going to top. Okay, but here what you did is you came into this gap right here. You held over this. Okay, there's one of those blue horizontals. Okay, so here you could have risked, okay, because you got a couple things between the orange and the green. Okay, and as a matter of fact, that thing just changed to green here, 254.63. It's the same number, okay, it changed. New month, what is it? And then 254.06. So you could have bought it here. For example, I'm making this up, 255.45 with $1.50 stop. That'd be about 5%, right? Because $2.50 would be 1%, right? So 0.5%. You know, you're like, okay, I'll risk it. You know, I'm going to be a trader. And then all of a sudden, here, you come here. Next day, but you're back over old highs. Then the next day, they're trying to keep that under, you know, that bubble, that beach ball underwater, you know. But we got another sell-off, you know. So say, for example, if this right in here, you're selling it at 257, you're parceling it out. 257 in a wildly bull market, a bubble. Then you sell some more up to 274. Okay? So we could get rid of this. But if you wanted to learn that. Okay. Should we go to grains? Is there anyone left on grains? I said I'd go to grains here. Google 300. Oh, yeah. Here, let's go see Elon. Okay. Okay, look at this. We're back over in olive, man. This thing, we're going to Mars. This stock is going to Mars. He tells you. And so let's just do that on a little bit longer term. Okay, that would be, look at this, you know, you put a fucking buy down there. You put a buy. It looks like I had something mapped out here. You know, if you, oh, this was 2025. Look at that. What was the low? 214.25. I'm reading the yellow box. 214.25. What was this? Okay, it's too hard to tell. That is also being used for something else, that low. Okay, so, but it looks pretty darn close, doesn't it? Here, maybe we could get a measurement over here. 213.95, it missed. It missed. Okay, so that olive missed. Okay, it did. You know, do you put something a little bit above? That's all going to be slippage, okay? But it's a good example about, you know, risk to reward, you know, because you get that extra 50. I say if you can avoid that last 2 to 4% break like we just had in beans, okay, and then we got down to 493, that olive line buying. Okay, here, hang on a second, let's go. Okay, so this is 1302. Okay, did you see all those on the bottom? Those are all charts behind this page of charts. Okay, let's go to, we're going to go to grains. 24 minutes. Okay. Okay. Well, what are the S&Ps doing? Okay, here. Okay. Teal trend line. Where does it come from? Learn a trader eye, NASDAQ. Okay. This teal line. Okay, now here's the teal line here. Let's watch it. So it's from somewhere down here. Okay, and then this teal line is going up, and it looks like it hits here, hits here, hits here. You bust out. You can't be short. You can't be short. New highs, you can't be short. New all-time highs. You just can't be short. And then you gap, and then this was Monday. You had a big weekly gap, just like in soybeans. And then Tuesday, okay, and then you get this. You get a little key reversal. And then yesterday, okay, and we kind of broke, I was telling somebody, I'm like, I don't know, it's just another key reversal, you kind of respect it on a Friday, last day of the month, okay, but we could run. We could do a year-end run, okay, but this is one of my charts going out here today. I better get going here. Okay, and then there's the NASDAQ. These are just kind of crazy lines. A buddy of mine just said, he goes, yeah, give me some of those crazy lines. This is bean oil here. I'm going to touch these fast here. This was an orange here. We just came down. We got one of these big reds. Okay, we got a couple olives underneath here. Here's one of those green horizontal or blue horizontals. Ignore that. Okay, so we got a little olive there. Another one down at $48, man. If they whack it, we could hold here. It's over the weekend. Funds are pressing it, in my opinion. I know they are. How do you know they are? Well, the government's closed. Who do you want to believe? So anyway, those will be a couple of areas here, okay? The funds have been, they weren't really long the oil, short the meal. There were some, but they were more or less all short the meal, okay? And let's just look at meal. We haven't looked at meal in a while here. We got posted a diamond. Big freaking buy here. Big volume. Not as big as last year, okay? Not as big as last year, okay? This is when we were swinging around here. Just in a big range. Remember that in meal? Anyway. So maybe China took some meal. I don't know. Because meal was, you couldn't even give it away. Oh, yeah. Look at these powder blues here. I'm going to call it out. 330 and then up at 334 to 335 area, okay? See, I got that area right here. This is open interest, okay? So this is the funds getting out. Let's go here. Open interest, okay? And so that's meal here. Let's go to beans, okay? I keep talking about beans. I'm neglecting them. Okay, here's what we are. This is a weekly. Okay, this is Jan beans here. Okay, so here. See that high, 1085? Okay, as a matter of fact, wasn't this in September? No, this was in September. This is when our place, the hurricane came. Or no. September 24. Here's the hurricane. Yeah, here's the hurricane. I was down in Florida. And as a matter of fact, anyway, here, look. So here you can see the trend line breakout here, okay? We open up here, and it just like, close your freaking eyes and buy it, okay? And so this was from 1070 to 1115. Nice big 50-cent week, okay? There, from 1060 to, 1115, okay? 55 cents. 55 cents! And look at this. We're kind of clearing over this one here, okay? Okay? So this thing could snowball fast, okay? I don't know. I don't know. Do the Chinese really buy it on a bulge? The Chinese, they lie, they cheat, they steal, and they back out of grain contracts. I have 50 years experience. Here's corn. Okay, here's corn. This was this level here, okay? Next level up around 440, okay? And there would be an objective up here. This would be this little head and shoulders bottoms, okay? Up around 460. Under 470. You can see here. This is the last high over here. So watch this area. I think you want to buy it on breaks, but right now it seems like soybeans is the, see that blue horizontal line? Yeah. And this is what we did in August, okay? We just absolutely buried them. Fuck you, buy the olive line. This is the rule right here. You can take it up your ass one day, in my opinion, one day. And then look at where we closed, okay? Now what do you do, punk? And then look at this. You go down there and now you're all beat up. You just lost like 20 grand, okay? Because you're trying to shoot. You're trying to buy these things, okay? And then all of a sudden, look at this. And then there it is. It comes back, okay? And then you get this back into long-term, okay? Just think something like 07, 15's lows, okay? Something like that, where you almost have like a constant underlining murmur of inflation, like say, whatever, I'm making it up, 0.5% a year, Okay. And also back here, Paul Tudor Jones was just talking and said he thought commodities were super undervalued here. Okay. So who are the buyers? I don't know. Paul Tudor Jones and Chinese, or the commercial firms trying to cover Chinese business. That's probably the way I would sell that story. That would be what I think I see. Okay, and then here in wheat, check this out. Okay, so you got this teal line, same kind of thing based off candlesticks. Here it was the low at 520. Here it was, look, it's going down for 519 and 7/8. Okay, it was down here. I think it was at 18 on one of the intraday charts. In any event, what are you into? You got a gap right there. Okay, and this market was sitting the wrong way. There's the olive line. You had an orange to go underneath there, and which goes back even longer term, right? Because the olive line is the most oversold. The thick one. Here's the thin one. Here's the thin one. Here, this goes with this thick one. Then there'd be an orange up there. But listen, that's how big this sequence is. The orange one we don't even see up here, so that means it's over 575. Okay. So, or maybe that's it. Maybe it's right on top of that 560. I don't know, because there is a green here. So hang on a second here. Oh no, there's the orange up at $6. Okay, that's how big 535 and a half is. Okay, I've been talking about this. Got a client here. We got to stop right above here, man. Didn't get stopped out here. Exit long, didn't get stopped back in, rather. Exit long, didn't get stopped long over. So watch this here. We came all the way back. Look at this showing here Friday. 517 to 34 and a half. You know, it's 14 cents. That's a 3% swing right back to new high close, you know, for the last 20 days. So that's wheat. I think, you know what? I'm over 30 minutes and I don't know how it goes on the thing. So I'm going to end this. If you need anything, I would say you can email me, arp@nasdog.com, or stop over here and take a package. And I should get notified, okay? And, or you can put it on a tip somewhere if you follow anywhere else. All right, thanks for watching. Trader rule adage your excuse. The market was too choppy. Oh, well, I got to do the next one after that, too. There is no volatility, and there was too much volatility. Okay, so you're always complaining. All right, have a nice day. Always use a risk stop to stop the risk.